You guys are back again listening to Life in a Wine Bottle with your host, Nelson Pizarro. Our special guest speaker is Lindsay with Wine Smarties. In part one, we'll talk about Lindsay's background, how she got into wine, started Wine Smarties, and what it took to receive a master's in wine, and another couple amazing awards. Don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel and iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or like us and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Life in a Wine Bottle. Enjoy the episode. Quick shout out to our sponsors, Castelli Family Vineyards, where you can taste the love of the wine. Follow and like them on Instagram at CastelliFE. Bespoke Maestro, they make elegant dresses and suits benefiting any occasion. Follow them on Instagram at Bespoke Maestro. San Diego Wine Tasting App. Easy to use, free to download, fun to find a new winery. Download the app today on Apple Store and Google Play. Search for San Diego Wine Tasting App. The Wine Smarties. We are certified wine professionals who promote thoughtful drinking through wine education and consulting for the wine consumer and the wine industry. Follow us at Wine Smarties. Now let's get on with the show. So now we started the conversation. Tell me a little bit about yourself now. Where you grew up. I know there's a big award or certificate or
Yeah.
I know there's a big one, but we'll go into that one down the road in a little bit later. But talk to a little bit about yourself. Are you from San Diego? Do you grow up?
No, I'm not from San Diego. I grew up in New England in a very idyllic sort of farm. We have 40 acres. It's a family farm. So my mom's dad was a very famous doctor. He helped find the cure for polio with
Oh my goodness.
the Salk guy. What's his name? William Salk? I don't know. He was on that team. My mom was the first ever to be trialed in the iron lung. And yeah, in Michigan, where my
That's
family.
incredible. Yeah, that's a
Isn't
great
that
story.
cool?
Yeah. What were
he-
they farming? What were they farming?
Huh?
What was it that they were farming?
At
Dairy
where
or
we grew up,
yeah.
nothing. It was an inactive farm, but there's a barn and a shed. And, growing up, we had a couple horses for a moment. We had a pony, a really mean pony.
Oh my
It didn't want us to ride it, so that didn't last long. We had a big horse.
Uh-huh.
We had chickens at some point, which is a whole story we don't need to get into. But I remember when they were babies in the attic, they were super cute and fuzzy. We had a bunny or two actually, and then they anyway, a lot of the animals went a little crazy on our farm. We don't know why. We had a dog and a cat. So, like for a kid, it was great. Go outside and play. You really are super safe in New England. Houses are far apart. So I had a really great upbringing, and yeah, I can't complain. We have a pond. So my sister and I have a twin sister, and we would go to the pond and try and catch frogs, which obviously, as you know, you can never do.
Yep.
So
That's
we
great.
did play with the tadpoles, the little eggs. We didn't
That's the easy ones. That's the easy ones to pick up with a little net or your hands.
Yeah, it's gross now, right? As an adult, you're like,
obviously, yeah. My kids are always playing around. Whatever they can find, they play around with animals in our area. So okay, so you're New England. Then you went from New England to.
Well, I went to college in Pennsylvania, and after college, I went and lived in Boston, which was fabulous. I loved it, and I worked at this language school.
What school did you go to in Pennsylvania?
Lafayette College.
Lafayette College. Okay.
Small.
My mentor that taught me how to make wine, he went to Penn State, and he lives in San Diego. So his winery is called Scaredy Cat Ranch.
Scaredy Cat.
Yeah, and for me, I feel like he's one of the top winemakers in Ramona, if not the top one. And
cool.
So the information that he brings, he's been doing it for over 20 years out there in Pennsylvania. And then when he came out here, 20 plus years ago. So he's his name is Joe Collin, a great guy. And we're small production, but he's even smaller. He does about 100 cases a year. And he's always sold out within a month or two.
Wow.
So, but he just really loves it. All right. So you went to school in Pennsylvania, then you went to the next.
Oh, Boston.
Boston. Okay. So you're staying in the New Englandish area. You're okay.
Yeah, I loved it. I never, I was a skier where I grew up in my town. There's a lake and a ski area.
Okay.
So in the winter you skied 10 minutes
Yep.
from my house, and in the summer you went on the boat.
Yeah.
So
Easy.
it was, like I said, it was a really good upbringing.
Yeah.
A great lifestyle, especially for families and kids. There's always stuff to do outside,
Mm-hmm.
get them out doing stuff,
Yeah.
So yeah, I like New England. I never hated it. I never like left New England going, I don't like New England. I loved it. I think the people are funny. They're salty, the New Englanders. They've
Uh-huh.
kind of got an edge. Not as bad as the New Yorkers, but
Uh-huh.
I think they're funny people. They're kind of earthy people, they're down to earth and practical types.
Yep.
But they really are. I don't know. I like the New England peeps, but that's where I'm from, so it
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. Of course. And these schools that you went to, was it wine specific or was it
Oh
marketing?
no,
Of
totally
course not, right?
unrelated.
Of course not. So
No, the
what
wine
was?
thing came. I was walking up my steps in Boston. I remember, to this house I lived with a professional juggling clown, a magician, and a musician. So you can imagine the backyard parties with fire juggling. Like it was. It was great. I had a great time in Boston, I gotta say. The people I lived with were street performers. Like, you'd go to Harvard Square and you'd see them, Peter Panic and Jenny the Juggler. It was
Oh
really great.
my
But
goodness.
I remember
Do you
coming
still
home
keep in touch? Do you still keep in touch with them?
um Jenny is a Facebook friend, but I haven't seen her in maybe 10 years.
Okay.
So no.
All right.
But
So
I
there.
know she's still doing it.
Oh, she is. That was the next question. If she's still messing around doing that and
Yeah,
having fun
she's
with
got
it.
2 kids now, and she's got Banana the Bun. It's a bunny that she uses. I haven't seen how she uses it, but it's
Okay.
it's part of her thing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got some good connections, some amazing memories,
Oh
you know.
yeah, great memories.
All right. And then so okay, keep on going. Keep on going. Talk to us.
So I worked at this language school of English. So people, it was so cool. It's in kind of the oh God, west. I was like, east part? No, other way, wrong coast. West part of Boston, um, Brighton. There's this old monastery on top of a hill, and it was converted into a language school. So I worked at this language school of English where people would come from around the world, you name the country. I remember because I was the student services coordinator, which was really kind of a fluffer job. It was a position of like receptionist and, is that noise going to bother you? Because,
That's not too bad.
okay, well, it is for me. 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too loud. But yeah, so it was a great job because I got to directly interface with all these international people who were living at this school, because it housed people. And I remember I had a group from Saudi Arabia. I had never known anything about Saudi Arabians, and they were the nicest guys. I took them around Boston, and it was very interesting from a cultural standpoint. But it turned into, I want to go live abroad. So I did. I saved money that year. I became an English teacher, and I lived in Italy after Boston this was right after 2001,
Okay.
September 11th, because I had my flight 3 days later. And my
Oh
flight
my
was
goodness.
like, I'm like, can I go? What do I do?
Yeah.
Mom, Dad,
Yeah,
help.
everybody. Yeah, especially where you're at. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, physically within driving distance. Oh,
Yeah.
what a
It
this.
was a
Okay,
little
so
crazy.
yeah, I bet there's a lot of emotions that side. So okay, so I assume
But I
you
went.
left. You left,
I went
okay.
when I could get a flight. It was like a week and a half later or 2 weeks later that
Okay.
they opened them up. But I went and lived in Italy for a year. And during that time, I still wasn't really into wine. I had a great Italian boyfriend that I met. He was one of my students. His English was never very good. But he just took me in, and his family was so nice to me. And we traveled around, went to wine regions. We went to Piedmont. We went to a region called the Oltrepo Pavese, which is near where I was living in Milan, right outside of Milan, a small town. But I just had a fabulous year. And then when I came back a year later to Boston again, I was there only for 3 months. And my twin sister, who had been living in Oregon, had moved to San Diego because my older sister had been living in San Diego for many, many years,
Okay.
since 96 or 7. And this was 2002 at the point. So I moved there with an open-ended plane ticket and my 2 bags. It didn't matter. I didn't really have anything anyway because I was living abroad for a year. And yeah, so there you go. And then I liked it, but I didn't love it immediately. And it just took, going from New England and the culture of New England to Southern California is a big transition. But I'm here. I mean, this was back in 2002 that I moved to San Diego. So I've been here now 18 years.
Wow.
So that is my life story in a really short nutshell.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you for sharing that. And it's I always like telling with the listeners, everybody is just like you. You're not born into the wine world, I guess, unless you're in a winery, or I guess my kids were physically born right here in the vineyard, really.
Aww.
And it's just so funny because like I said, the wine world is so unique that anybody can do it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm not just saying about the palate or the aromas or just knowing the wines. It's just easy to get involved with because it's so social that as
Hmm.
soon as you get a bottle of wine or you get a glass of wine, I guarantee you a person next to you, if you're at a bar, they're going to ask you, what wine are you tasting?
Hmm.
Right? Or, oh, I love this type of wine. Why would I recommend this one, at a restaurant? So it starts kind of revolving from there, and then it starts becoming a hobby or a passion, and then you really get into it. And then you took the extra step and made it a career, right?
Totally. It's perfect. I love that. For me, it went like this. I was a frequent customer back at the time, the original wine bar of San
Okay.
Diego, or one of. It was like the second. It was during that, like the 2000s in San Diego was the era of wine bars.
It
All
just
of a
started
sudden,
blowing
there's
up.
so many. You remember that? Were you here in the
I wasn't
2000s?
here, but I was talking to Maurice.
Oh yeah, Maurice,
Maurice,
sure.
yeah, and we were just talking about how the beer industry blew up like crazy.
Hmm.
And he was just saying, I do see that San Diego can blow up in the wine world, like not just the bars, but the vineyards and the culture in this area. And it's just a matter of time. It's just, because San Diego has so much to offer that now we have just one more thing to put on the top of the list, not just
Yeah.
breweries, the beaches, the mountains. We,
Mountains.
we got the wineries now, so but yes, I know. A little research that I did. I know it went crazy all of a sudden.
You would. So I was back in 2003 or four, and I was dating a gentleman at the time, and we went to this wine bar. We liked wine. I didn't really know anything about it at the time, but we went, and not a lot of people were there, and it was called Wine Steals.
Mhm.
You remember hearing about
That
this?
one I
Maybe
don't know. Wine
no.
no.
So it was like a great concept. You could pick a bottle and drink it there for like a $5 corkage fee.
Okay.
And they had flights and they had great values like wine deal, it's a steal. And we love this place. So fast forward out at a karaoke bar down in Mission Hills, which is a famous one, the Lamplighter.
Uh-huh. I know that
My,
one.
you remember that? You know
Yeah.
that place?
That
That
one.
place.
Yeah.
Lots of memories there. So my sister and my twin and I were at the Lamplighter giving one of our performances because we had gone there frequently enough that people knew us, the
Uh-huh.
twins. So
Are you guys identical as well?
yeah.
Okay.
We look less alike now, but yes, I mean our
Okay.
hair color is a little different.
Okay.
But so we went there, and at that bar, I saw the wine server of Wine Steals, and we're on the dance floor of the Lamplighter listening to some horrible, karaoke person. And she's like, "Hey, we're really busy. We need help." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I can come. I can help you. I waitressed for 10 years through
Yeah.
college and high school and post college. Even when I moved to San Diego, I waitressed. So I know how to serve. I can help." So that's how it started. Literally at the Lamplighter in the middle of a horrible karaoke song with
Oh
the
my
server.
gosh.
Isn't this great? Right?
Yes, that's incredible. Okay. But now we're gonna move over a little bit quicker, and there's
Okay, yeah.
a super crazy award, or what do you call it? Certificate?
Yeah, certificate.
The Masters in Wine, right? So give us a little bit. So just to let you know, I did do research, and I knew a lot about your background. So I'm not blindsided. I knew a lot, but I just love you're sharing your stories, and the guests like to hear. That's how you kind of relate, right? You remember certain things, and it's like, oh, I like this person. or no, I don't like this person. You know what I mean? And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it, but this one, I think people are enjoying the stories, and it's a good connection for whoever's listening, right? So I wrote down right here, San Diego's first master in wine. Talk to us a
Yeah.
little bit about that, and yeah, talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, that's a big question. I don't know what aspect you want me to touch on because it's
Okay,
kind of a big
okay. How
can of
about
worms you're
this?
poking at.
How long did it take to become a master?
Well, you have to consider where's your starting point. So for me, I consider my starting point 2005 when I got my first certificate with the Society of Wine Educators,
Hmm.
and that started the path on certificates for me. And then in
Okay.
2008, I think I became a certified wine educator, and then I got my WSET level 3 advanced, and then I got the diploma in 20. Well, the diploma took several years with the WSET, and I finished that January 2013. So I applied to the Master Wine Program in 2013 and I finished in
Holy
2018.
moly.
But
So
where's the starting point, right?
almost no. That's that's a big starting point. What you just 15 years to
Kind
16
of.
years that uh and did you think about taking that route, or was it just like, hey, I enjoy it and let me just take this course and then go from there?
Well, I had started Wine Smarties in 2006 when I was still at Wine Steels. Actually, when I was still working there, I
Okay.
mean that was one of my revelations working at Wine Steels. Is all these people are asking me about wine. They want my opinion. They want me to tell them what to buy. And I was like, I have to get a certification. I have to know something more about wine because I can't do my job very well.
Correct.
I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't have a background in wine. So it was born from this observation from all these customers at Wine Steels who knew nothing about wine. And here I am trying to know about wine, making recommendations. So that's kind of where it started. And then I started Wine Smarties 2006, just teaching casual classes that I kind of wine 101. I mean, it was pretty in the beginning.
Hmm.
If you were to talk to some of my old students, I mean, it was like, okay, let's be real. I've really improved.
Right.
I
And you
didn't know
learned.
as much.
Yeah, you learned and you grew, and
Yeah.
you
So it
really
was that
interacted with
progress.
them.
It was like, here, I have a product called Wine Smarties. I have to be smart at wine. So get on it, Lindsay. So that's kind of was a motivating force too, is just put the put your mouth behind, what is that
Yeah.
expression? Put your money where your
Put your
mouth
money
is.
behind. Yeah.
That. And so that was a motivator. I was like, well, if I'm going to be teaching classes, I should really know a lot more. And if I'm going to be offering certification programs, which I started in 2009, like the WSET I started teaching, I need to know my stuff. So that was a lot of motivation to
Mhm.
get me to the diploma level. And then at the diploma level was the pivot where my boyfriend at the time that was living with me loved wine and loved this whole aspect of what I was doing, and it really encouraged me.
Yeah, he
I don't know if
supported
I would
you.
have
He pushed you.
continued. He didn't push, but he really supported it and was like, you can do it, this is really great. And so I think with his enthusiasm, I think I thought, okay, yeah, I can do this.
Mhm.
And then I started going, oh god, this is really hard.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can
seems
I do
like
that?
I mean, so that master's certificate is like, share with us that, not the whole process, but the testing or the exam. What is it specifically? Blindfolded or blind tasting?
Yeah, yeah.
Know the region? Just a little bit. Share a little bit about that. How
Well,
difficult it is.
Well, the first year, as a first year, you're not sitting the full exam. You have what's called a first year assessment, which is a mini version. It's
Okay.
a 1-day exam to kind of make sure that you're able to sit the full exam.
All right.
So I had to prepare for that the first year as a first year. And, but when I actually sat the exam for the first time, the second year, it's a 4-day exam. So the MW program is 3 parts. One part is theory, one part is the blind tasting, and one part is a research paper. So I'm only talking about the 4 days is only referring to parts 1 and 2. The
Wow.
research papers, after you pass those parts,
Yeah.
you've moved to now stage 3, which is the research paper. So
Mm.
the first and second parts are a 4-day exam. And God, it's super not fun. Who wants to go to a 4-day exam? No
Just
one.
just intense.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's nerve wracking. You've spent thousands of hours, thousands of dollars. Like I traveled to New Zealand, I traveled to Bordeaux, I traveled here, here, here.
Wow.
On my own dime. I wasn't sponsored by a corporation, just from my own credit card. Really, is
Yep.
what paid for it.
That,
That
that
I'm still
that's your
paying off.
sponsorship right there.
Yep. Uh, so yeah, so there's just a lot of time, emotional energy, and actual physical costs involved. So there's a lot of stakes, from a personal level. So the 4-day exam starts with the first morning, from 9 until 9:12 is the first exam on viticulture, and it's 3 questions. Well, actually, I think you get 4 or 5. The exams are published. The Master of Wine publishes all exams, so you could research online and get
Okay.
each year's exams. It's completely transparent. So you choose 3 questions, and out of 5, I believe it's a list of 5, and you have to write 1-hour essays on each of these topics. And your essays have to be, you know, referencing global examples, being specific. You got to know your crap. This isn't just a fluffer like
Wow.
blah blah BS BS.
It's
No, you'll
work.
fail
It's work.
fast.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
no.
work.
The people that grade are, they're actually viticulturists, and so they're not going to let you like get
They
away with
they know their
that.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
they know their
no.
stuff. Wow.
So
So
that's
it.
the first morning. And then
Oh
that
my goodness.
afternoon is the blind tasting day 1, which
Okay.
is 12 white wines. And that's a 2-hour and 15-minute exam because it's written. So it's not like the Court of Master Sommeliers where it's an oral exam.
Yeah.
It's a written exam on, for example, the following 3, and it's often divided into flights, but not always. You can get what's called mixed bag. So the following 6 wines are white wines. Okay, thanks. Didn't give me anything.
And that's it.
Please, right. Please tell me their origin, the grape or grape varieties, how was the wine made, and its commercial appeal. So you have to, it's an argument. This is where I think the master wine approach is quite different from the deductive tasting approach or the grid.
Uh-huh.
Is they don't care about your grid. You're not writing, you're taking your grid and you're making an argument in your answer.
Why you feel this wine is so X, Y,
Correct.
and Z. Okay.
Yes. And it has to be a well argued, they want to see your logic.
Yeah.
So how did this person get to this answer? You can't just write the correct answer, even if it's right.
Yeah.
They want to see, how did you get there? What did you think about? What aspects specifically did you taste? You always have to connect it to the glass. About this wine that makes you think it's from a cool climate in an old world. Here are these possible regions that you're suggesting. And then you narrow it down. We call it funneling.
Okay.
So you kind of present a larger argument and then you funnel it down until your conclusion. And your final conclusion is, here's where I'm going to lay my hat. This is what I think the wine is.
So
This is
now, based on what you just told me, this makes total sense why you recommend this wine to a person based on their preference, their thoughts, and and it makes it more, I mean, not easy, right? Because obviously you can recommend a bottle and then they're like, no, I don't like it. But you can really, go through an easier path and go through your little funnel and get to a point that, hey, we got these, Cabernet Sauvignons from this region. I believe you like these top 3 right here. And that's super hard to do because everybody's palate is so out there that you have no clue, right? Until you start talking to them.
Yeah.
So that makes the most sense of what you're saying and what you learned. And obviously you're doing a good job because you've been in business for how many, 12, 14 years now?
I know.
Time flies. Yeah, you're making a living out of it. And how many masters of wine are there?
Jeez. They
roughly.
just passed 16. I want to say either 395 or
Yeah, there's not too
404,
many, right?
something like that.
In the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, I think there's only like
So
40
you're
of us in the
famous.
US or 45 in the US.
You're
It's small.
famous. Come on, all that money and
Those in
time
the
you
know,
spent.
it's so niche
Yeah.
that you got to kind of know. Like a lot of people don't even know what a master wine is or have heard of it. So
Yeah.
it's like,
And
okay.
do you get a pin or what do you get?
Yeah, I
What
get
do
a
you
pin.
show off? Is that what you show off when you go to any of your courses?
I'm not really a show off type.
What
It's
do you
not
mean?
really
You
my
should get a
vibe.
big one.
This
Oh,
is the pin.
nice. Nice. So that's what they give you right there. And it's
No, well, I got the award too. I got the Bollinger Medal of Honor. Let me show
wow.
you this thing. This thing's the best.
Okay, show us this one. So people that are listening, it's a little gold pin that she just showed us. It said Masters of Wine. And then now she's gonna bring out the Medal of Honor right here.
So this is a great story, and I was trying to find the film on it. But at the annual awards ceremony at the Institute, there's a few awards they give out. And, I just rolled up thinking, I'm just happy to get my certificate and be done with this because
And
this was
you're
really hard.
exhausted. Yeah, you're
I'm
exhausted
like,
at that
I
point.
almost didn't go. I was like, do you think I should go, you guys? My parents are like, you should go.
Yes, of course. Yeah, but you know
I was like,
the
oh,
backbone of it. Yeah, the backbone of it. You are
emotional
super
trauma.
done. Yes, you're super done. Is you're like I'm just gonna get a
Oh, no.
pin and I'm
Yeah.
done. Yeah. Okay.
But the best part was during the award ceremony, they announced, and there's one award that everyone wants. The award is the Bollinger Medal for Excellence in Tasting. It basically means that of all the Master of Wines that were announced that year, I think my class had 14 or 16, I can't remember. In 2018, you're the best taster, meaning that your
Wow.
overall tasting score was the highest comparatively. So, who's going to expect they're getting that? No
Yeah.
one. No one rolls into this thing thinking they're going to get anything other than please just give me my,
Just
please give me
happy
my
that you
award.
passed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Oh God, please.
Yeah.
So they announced my name, and I was like, looking around, like, are you sure? Is that my name? Are you sure for real? I literally had this startled look in my face. It was kind of like, it was really like if somebody filmed my face, it was pretty bad. I was not camera ready. Let's
Yeah,
just say
you're
that.
shocked.
I was kind of shaking walking up the stage. I had no idea. But the best part is they give you 4 cases of Bollinger champagne,
Okay.
and they flew me and 3 people. So I took my parents and my friend Stephanie to Champagne for the week. Well, we were there for
Wow.
5 days, paid for everything,
Wow.
and gave me a formal ceremony. This stuff's unheard of in the US. It's so, it's English, it's French, it's traditional.
Yeah, they want the castles and the kings and yes, you
it
felt
felt
really
like that.
yeah, that's
It was
incredible.
unreal. So they presented me with this little guy,
Okay.
opened it up,
Let's see what
and
it is.
inside, according to the gentleman, Etienne, who's the head of the Bollinger guy, he said the Queen of England's jeweler made this. I said, what?
Wow.
So here's my little medal.
Uh-huh.
It's got Madame Bollinger Foundation.
And
They give it every year.
a shadow of her face, I assume.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you can read it. There you go.
Yes, kind of hard to read, but there's a
Use
little
backwards. It says, I don't know. It's hard to read. The Madame Bollinger Foundation is honored. Oh God, I need glasses. Anyway, it just says my name, honored to present you the
it's a
outstanding.
custom made. It's custom made for you from the Queen's jeweler.
They opened up in 1976 Champagne. Give me a break. Who could think this stuff?
Congratulations. All that hard work, and obviously you're doing a great job at it.
But wait, there's more.
Okay.
So during this award ceremony, there was other awards. There's the best paper, there's the best winemaking paper, because remember there's 5 parts. So viticulture in the morning, white wines in the afternoon. Day 2, winemaking in the morning, essays, 3 essays. Red wines in the afternoon. Day 3, you've got quality control in the morning and any
Dessert
wine
or something.
in the afternoon. Day 4 is business of wine essays and global issues essays. So again, 4-day exam. So they have lots of awards. The best winemaking paper. This is there's the other award was a trip to Austria on for the overall best candidate. They call it the Outstanding Achievement Award. So it's like adding up all your scores of each part. So the tasting and your essays and your research paper, there's a prize for that. And so when they called my name a second time, I was like, what? Is this real? Pinch me.
Dude,
So
you
after my
crushed
trip
it.
to
You
Champagne
crushed
last
it.
year, I went to Austria with my
Wow.
sister. So
So
anyway, wow.
Vienna? You went to Vienna?
We flew into Vienna and went to Styria because I had been to the
Okay.
Wachau before. So I didn't want to go back to that same region. So we went to direct south of Vienna is called Styria. Fabulous Sauvignon Blancs. They have a wine, it's Chardonnay called Morillon. It's kind of very white Burgundy Chablis-esque, but the wines were all very delicious, very high quality, and the region was stunning. These slopes were like 65, 75 degree slopes, one of the steepest areas, because it's the foothills of the Alps, essentially, is the region.
Oh,
so it was
beautiful
stunning.
too. Yeah, it was just incredible.
Incredible.
Wow.
So that's my story.
That is incredible. So congratulations. And yeah, you're super famous in at least the wine world.
I don't know about that.
Congratulations. You did a great job on that. So you should be very proud of yourself. I'm glad to hear that that's just crazy.
Right?
Honestly, yeah.
I had no clue.
So you did a great job. So you know your stuff. Maybe a little bit.
Apparently. I
Right,
don't remember everything though. So
let's go a little bit more into your wine Smarties. What's your role there? Owner, receptionist, cleans the bathroom, and also teaches classes?
Yep,
is that
I
basically
set
what
up
it is?
tables. That's true. I do
Is that
a lot
what
of fluffing.
Do you have anybody working with you? Or, so what's your role? What's your title?
I call it chief wine officer.
Okay.
But not yet. I mean, I did for the first time this year have Rick Fisher, who created the Spanish Wine Scholar. He's the one that wrote it, but he was a former student of mine, and he got hooked up with the Wine Scholar Guild and actually crafted their Spanish Wine Scholar program. So for the first time ever, I didn't teach a course, but I offered it. So that was an interesting shift this year. Because he created the course. How am I gonna, I can't do better than that. Let's be real. That guy.
So then you brought him in, and then he's teaching the course, and then you're teaching a different course. Yep. So you're kind of feeling like you're expanding a little bit in your wine Smarties?
Yeah, I'm trying, but then COVID hits, and it's like, oh, your venue's closed, Lindsay.
Mm-hmm. And where's your venue at? What area?
Well, I teach in Temecula, and so my venues vary. But, we had set up a program to start, I think, in June at South Coast for their employees, and COVID hit. So forget it. So now I'm like, okay, how am I going to pay bills? I mean, everyone that was affected. So I started shifting to more online, which is great. Mm-hmm. And then my venue in San Diego has been for the past, 3 years, maybe more, is the Wine Cellar and Brasserie, and they've just been great. But
yeah, that's right there. Yeah, I know that area. I think Kurt used to be there.
Oh yes, Kurt. Yeah, I worked with Kurt. I miss him. He's great.
Yeah, I met him. We had our bottles there for a little bit, and obviously he's no longer there. So that's pretty cool. It's a small world. You never know. The connect. I just rolled up on your guys' place there, and I'm just like, hey, can I sell some bottles at your place? And he's like, who are you? I'm like, you want to come to my winery?
Just try my wine.
Yeah, that's how it all started. He's like, okay, yeah, why not? And then he showed up with his wife and 2 good friends, and from there he bought some wine. So it was really nice. And that's just my personality. I kind of miss the signs that say no solicited, and I just kind of walk through anyways. Like, oh, you sell wine? I sell wine too. What a coincidence.
Hey, we know each other.
Yeah, we must be meant to be, So you have so you do a class there or courses there. Tell me a little bit how you sign up. Talk to us a little bit. How do you get people sign up, especially right now through this whole COVID um,
Yeah,
website, or
people,
talk
you
to
can
them.
go to my website, Wine Smarties. I'm in a process right now of transitioning to more online,
Yeah.
because I really was pretty exclusively in person. But obviously, everyone's having to bob, weave, duck, jump,
Mhm.
hop. You
Yeah.
understand? Make
Hide,
change
hide a little bit
a little
to,
bit,
to,
maybe
to,
hide.
to get by. Yes, to get by. Now, are you seeing because people are getting scared that you come in, or what's the reasoning? Because I assume your classes aren't as big as typical classes, or are
Well,
they?
I have a course starting in Temecula in just a couple weeks, and it's huge.
Oh, what's
So
huge?
I think I have 30 students enrolled.
Okay, and
That's a big class.
that's
That's
a big
like max. I can't take anymore. I don't want to.
okay, because you really want to give the attention to all your
Correct.
customers and really kind of
36.
share. And then mostly they will say something, and then that conversation ends up going into another conversation, and then I know 30 people have other opinions,
Mm.
so you end up really not doing anything probably if you get
Well, don't
more,
say
right?
that.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
No,
I
it's a
said
good
more
thing. It's a good thing.
fluently.
No, it's a good thing. It's, obviously you know what you're doing, and you know how to keep things on track.
That's true.
For doing it for such a long time, I presume. But I'm just saying out loud, I know for sure it will be challenging, and it's good that you like to keep your classes structured and with the X amount of people because of that
Yeah.
customer service, that unique touch to it. All
Yeah.
right, so you can
People.
sign yourself up on your classes,
Mhm.
not yet online or yes online, since you're changing it up.
Oh, well, I have been doing online. So I kind of do my classes apart from my wine courses. Those I schedule in advance and there's always new dates. But with my online classes, I kind of do 3 months and I'm just ending one now. I created a course, a 5-week online course. And so wines, either students picked up or had their wine shipped to them. And then we taste online. In fact, we meet tonight at 5.
Okay.
But it's been really fun because, quite frankly, I love teaching the courses. I have for 11 years now, which is kind of unbelievable to say. Um, and I've heard, and it really does give such value to students, like getting a formal certification they can use in their trade, not just to have a piece of paper that says, hey, I have this level of knowledge, but also for their own internal confidence, I think is what I hear as well. Like just being able to talk to student or to their clients in a way that they don't feel overwhelmed or intimidated. Because I know that's a big part of the motivating factor as to why people would take a course, is so that they can be more articulate and actually know what they're talking about, so they don't sound dumb.
Correct,
That's
correct. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
important.
That fear of not really knowing. I
Yeah, where
think
someone's talking over
yeah,
you and you're like, oh, I
maybe
don't
they're
know if that.
right and maybe they're wrong. It can go both
Right.
sides. So give us a little bit of start to finish with your courses. I know you just said one of them was 5 weeks. Let's just say that one that you're going up for the 30 guests or 30 students.
Mhm.
Tell us, is it specific 5 weeks, 8 weeks, one day?
So my level 2 WSET course, which is where I put beginners slash intermediates,
Mhm.
is a 5-week course, and then we skip a week. Week 7's the exam, and
Okay.
that's 6 to 10 p.m. So it ends up being whatever 5 times 4, nearly a 20-hour course.
Okay.
Um,
And this is for
so
anybody that
yeah,
that you are a teacher or you're in the restaurant industry or you just like
I
wine.
see everything. I see. Well, in Temecula, it's a little different market than my San Diego group because they're mainly in the wine industry.
Okay.
So they're actively working. But in San Diego, I see around 30%, sometimes more. My January class was 90% enthusiasts,
Oh,
not even in the industry or caring to be in it, which was
then
interesting.
that's incredible.
But normally I see, about 30 to 40% trade for professionals.
Mhm.
The other small 20% maybe transitioners, career transitioners. I'm looking to get in the wine industry. And then the other is enthusiasts.
Okay.
So I always have, usually in San Diego, some people that just take it for fun because they love wine, they travel, they really want to know what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, so there's actually a mixed crowd that would take it. It's not just trade people.
Okay, that's good to know because obviously listeners, just like you said, when you know when you're talking to a guest about wine, you kind of want to know, right? You want to know what you're saying.
The same thing is you don't want to be intimidated going to a course like yours because you have such, big
Mm.
pedigree that you feel like you're not smart enough or you haven't tasted enough wine. But for you, you're saying anybody really can go into just beginners to advanced wine tasters or drinkers, right?
Yeah, I think you bring up a good question. I have in my beginner category, I have what I refer to as internally as my true beginner. My true beginner would be challenged in the course, but I do encourage them to do it
Okay.
because the level one course is really like almost too basic and it's just not really, in my opinion, worth the time and money.
Okay.
So I put everyone in level two. But what I'm hearing recently and over the years is there is a demand that I'm working to fill of people that true are beginners and aren't ready either financially to commit to a course or, like they're not quite there yet
Yep.
from many reasons. Maybe they don't want to come to a 16-hour wine course
Yeah.
yet. They don't
That
want
could
to
be
pay
the
money.
time, yeah.
Yeah,
Or it can be
time and
financially.
yes.
Well,
So I've in the past just done what I call one-off casual classes where it's like an hour and a half. You come to a class live, we taste 5 or 6 wines. But now I'm really working on growing that online and creating a lot more online courses for people that bridge that sort of beginner to intermediate gap to the people that may not want to join the course, but just want to start, 100, 125 bucks, maybe something like that, or even less. I'm not sure. I'm working that out now with
Oh,
what
cool.
proprietary courses, but what's exciting is having taught for 14 years. And even I taught English in Italy. So really I've been a teacher since the year 2001, is being able to create my own courses with my own observations is been something that I've been doing. And that's what I was just describing. I'm finishing tonight with online is a course I created that is from my experience from teaching as well as tasting. So I'm focusing online courses are going to be tasting courses. That's clearly my specialty. I love teaching about taste and it's very exciting. And that's really, in my opinion, people want to know more about taste too. So like where I'm at in Wine Smarties world, still teaching courses, love the courses. The courses offer enormous value for people that, want to better themselves or their careers, but also working on how do I offer more for people that may not want to come to a live class or maybe, although the courses are available online as well. So I don't know if that helps, but that's kind of,
No, that's
I'm in
perfect.
like a transition mode as well is basically what I'm communicating.
And then you tweak your courses based on what you see. Too hard or not hard enough. So it's
and creating courses to bridge those gaps.
Little segments that you say, okay, I can get from A to C over here, and I got it. Here's my B right here to get there. That makes the most sense.
That's a good way to put it. Yes, thank you. That's great.
That makes a perfect sense, and I just want our listeners to know that there is availability for you as the listeners to get connected to you and not feel intimidated.
No, I'm not an intimidating teacher.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Because the wine world is a number one thing. I don't even know how to hold the glass. Like people are just like, do I grab it from the bottom? Do I grab it from the very bottom of the glass, or should I grab the whole top, or do I get it, or do I just get it by the stem, or should I use my pinky? So there's different ways, and then you kind of look around, and people are always just like swirling as fast as they can. Like, should I do this too, or should I just drink it really quick? So there's different things that I notice, and I never grew up in the wine world. I was very far off, so I'm able to bring that side of it. Because I always laugh about things like that or make fun of my father-in-law. So there's always things like that. And people are just like, that's actually true that happens, because you don't think about it because you're just like, oh, I see people do it, so I do that. But I'm like,
it's funny, you're right. You just stand there and swirl.
Yeah, I just talk to you. Hey, everything's doing great. Yeah. And I'm like, so are they going to drink it? But I get it. The oxygen, getting different aromas.
No, but to your point, there's no point in just standing swirling.
Yeah,
you got to stick your nose in it.
Yeah. Have fun with it, smell it, but that's basically my observation that I see usually coming through here. And and that's why I try to make it more of a fronter approach when people come to the winery. And I usually just ask them the same question: hey, do you drink wine? Do you like wine? Well, is this just, I just happen to see your winery or somebody told me about you, and I'm just like, I just try to kind of communicate with them before I make them feel uncomfortable,
Hmm.
because it's so easy to think, oh, I don't know anything about wine. Do I just chug it real quick, or am I supposed to do a little sip, or what am I? So when I talk to them, they feel so much comfortable having fun tasting the wine that I think that's what we sell. We sell that when they open our bottle of wine, they're going to remember, hey, this person, Nelson, taught us about this, or the stories about the winery stories. And the wine could probably be bad. I'm not saying we have bad wine, but I'm just saying the wine could be bad. And they just remember the stories about it, and they share it at a dining room. They share it with their friends. They share it with their family. And I feel like that's why the life in a wine bottle is so, it creates that little atmosphere. That's why I created that podcast, or this podcast.
Love
So
it.
you gave us a little bit of background of how your course is, how long it is, how to sign up,
Mhm.
different strategies you're going to approach with other courses, especially right now through COVID,
Yeah.
and the cost roughly you gave, give or take. Obviously that fluctuates. That's not always there.
That was the end of part 1 with Lindsay from Wine Smarties. I hope everyone got to feel her passion, personality, and why she enjoys what she does. Make sure to tune in next week to hear part 2. We'll talk about what sets her apart and her ultimate goals with Wine Smarties and herself. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, iTunes, Google Play channels, and also follow and like us on Facebook and Instagram at Life in a Wine Bottle. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Nelson Pizarro, and we'll see you guys next week.